Welcome to Genius Insight. Oh my God, you have no idea how your life is about to change. Give me 26 weeks and I promise you, you will have to look back at your past with a telescope. You would have come so far, made so much progress that when you look back at your life, you would wonder, my God, how far have I come? What was I doing all of this time? See, I grew up in a very conservative middle class background. The financial privileges were limited, the facilities were very basic, and the people surrounding us were also of the same standard. So there was no example, there was no exposure to dreams, to thinking big, that look, this would be a better life. We never had that kind of exposure. And while that was a reality, I spent most of my childhood and adult life in, while that was an environment that you could say, oh, you have no control over, you are like this, you will be like this will be your future. Perhaps there is something you can change about that reality and that environment, and that is in the choices you make in creating your reality within it. Let me give you an example. While I had no exposure, no facilities, no privileges growing up, I did have the power to create my reality within this larger reality which seemingly was controlling my life. And that lies in the choices that you make in what you do with your time and your space. So what I did as a child was I used my time productively in reading. I was one of those few kids who used to take books from the library. I chose to spend my time in reading and expanding my vision, my horizon, and looking at newer worlds, alternate realities, looking at a better life. So I grew up reading books. Enid Blyton was my favorite, about magic, about wonder, about larger than life fantasies. Oh my God, I would get lost in it. Where are you, Priya? If you would have ever asked me, where are you? I'd say, I'm on a faraway tree moving to another land. I used to read books on investigation, the famous 5, the secret 7, and that's how my childhood was spent. We didn't have a television at that time, so we used to go to the neighbor's house to watch the Sunday show, the Mahabharata. So I grew up among personalities like the kings, Arjun, Krishna. Those were people that would inspire me. Those were the people that would provoke me to think and started to shape my new reality. They started to shape my direction for the future. Remember this, what you actually choose to do with your time will shape your reality eventually. It does not matter where you are stuck. It doesn't matter how much you feel frustrated with your environment. What choices are you making with your time? And fortunately for me, as a child, I made some very clever choices. And as much as you guys have so much exposure and so much opportunity today, I grew up in a time where being a dreamer and a believer was near impossible. You were pretty much on your own. When I was little, my father used to ask me, Priya, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then he would quickly answer the question, an astronaut, an IAS officer. So he would ask me what my dreams are, and then he would tell me what they should be. And that was the environment I grew up in. And if somebody else would ask me, Priya, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would look at my father and, check that, are those dreams still on? Or have you added any more options, or have you changed your mind? I had no clue what I wanted to do when I would grow up. I was as lost as anybody else. I just knew this is not what I want. What I want is that fantasy fiction, that magic, that wonder. What I want is that life of a king's mindset, that leadership that Arjun had, that Krishna had, where they had taken on the responsibility, not just of their own lives, but the lives of people around them. That was my exposure, and that became my vision. See, whatever you choose to look at will impact you. And even when you say, I don't have a choice, in not exercising your choice, you have allowed it to impact you. So the point I'm making is, it's okay to feel lost. It's okay if your starting point is not at the right place. When you look at geniuses, you think, oh my God, they started early. Look, Sonu Nigam started his professional career at the age of 4. Well, that is awesome. His environment was so amazing. He was encouraged at the age of 4 to take on the platform and shine. But I can bet you this, and I'm going to call him for an interview. If at the age of 4, you would have asked him, Sonu, is this what you want to do for the rest of your life? I mean, think about it at the age of 4. Do you have memories of the decision making? Do you have any memories of when you were 4 years old? I don't think so. So I'm sure at that minute, he would have said, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? I don't know. But all I know is I want to do this right now. So if you are doing something you want to do right now, you, my friend, are on the right path. Now let's say at the age of 4, Sonu Nigam did not acknowledge that he had great talent to sing, or let's say his environment was hostile and people around him didn't let him take the stage, and let's say he discovered that at the age of 14 or 24 or 34 or 44. It's okay. The only difference is that his journey towards success would be that much longer or that much delayed. But it's all right, isn't it? Versus never ever taking the stage, versus never ever acknowledging that he has a special gift. It's still okay if he starts at 44. So if you are at an age where you feel, oh, I missed the boat, I should have done this when I was younger, or this is not the right time, I think you are at the rightest time ever. I met an astrologer a few years ago, and he looked at my hand and he said, you know what, Priya, you are 4 years behind success. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I started 4 years late, but at least I'm on the journey. Delay is not denial. It's okay. It really doesn't matter where you are. You can start now. And if you're thinking, oh my God, I'm late, then hurry up, make up for lost time. See, Sonu Nigam started at the age of 4. Sachin Bansal, the founder of Flipkart, started at the age of 26. Colonel Sanders, who's the founder of KFC, started at 62. It's all right. The time is now. If you have made the decision right now, your game, your race, your journey starts now. See, our current reality sometimes could be continents, light years, galaxies away from the success that we want to achieve. And you know what? The greatest pleasure lies in the journey. Let me give you an example. Let's say there is this guy who wants to be like a super successful businessman. And let's say he quickly gets the bank loan, he gets all the support, he gets all the resources, and in 6 months, he's made it to his dream. All right, that is one story. Versus the next one. The guy has a dream to be a super successful businessman, but he's 7 continents and 7 seas away from the goal. And in the journey, he has to swim through the oceans. He has to, go through these dense forests, fight demons, go through a lot of obstacles, and he makes it to success 20 years later. Now, whose story do you want to listen to? Whose do you think has more adventure, more growth? The guy that he started out as 20 years ago and the person who he has become, that is the greatest reward. You and I both know that it is never about the goal. It is about the growth. It is about the greatness. It is about the genius that has the opportunity to unleash in the journey toward your success. And if I were to wish something for you, I would wish you so many obstacles, and I would wish you the densest forest, and I would wish you the most dangerous demon, so that in that overcoming, you arrive a bigger, better, more powerful person. And that's the journey I am inviting you on this 26-week adventure of self-transformation. See, while my reality growing up wasn't really mine, it wasn't created by me, and so I didn't need to own it. Within it, I built a reality of magic, of wonder, of awe, of investigation, of excellence, of teachers, of disciples, of greatness, of genius. And if you know me, you will know this is who I am, and this is what my world is about. Magic, wonder, awe, genius, teachers, students, intelligence, excellence. That is my life, and it is self-transformation. created. And as I did that, as I invested more and more time in that, it outgrew the reality that I was living in. You are going to create your reality and bring it so much power and expand it so huge that you won't have to change a thing. You won't have to tell anybody to be different. You won't wish for things or life or circumstances to change. Your reality would outgrow all of them. And while other people exist, they would see you as an example and have a choice to change their world or not. And all they have to do as well is to create their own world. And at the end of 26 weeks, I will make you so super confident and solid. And you will be able to do this every single time on your own. You know, there was a time in the early 2000s when technology was on a big boom and then it went bust. So there was this interview with Bill Gates, who at that time was either the richest man in the world or one of the richest men in the world. So the journalist asked him a very mean question. So she said that, sir, what would you do if Microsoft shuts down? Okay, and you should have seen Bill Gates' face. You know, you ask one of the richest men in the world, what would you do if your company shuts down? Because, you know, success also brings with it a degree of arrogance where you feel, hey, I am unbeatable. So Bill Gates was silent for a few seconds. And then he said, that's possible. It's possible that Microsoft shuts down. He said, hey, okay, shut down Microsoft. Wipe it off from the face of the earth. Give me 2 years and I will build a company bigger than Microsoft. That is success. Success is not a one-time thing. Success is in your DNA. It's in your attitude. You know how to make it over and over again. A man who has had a solid, deep-rooted journey towards success, by man I also mean woman, who has had that kind of foundation. It is not just a one-time thing. You can create it. You can recreate it. You can make a better world than you did last time. And that is the true success that I offer to you at the completion of Genius Inside.